Alright guys, I just got through watching Monday Night Raw, and this is the go-home show for Night of Champions. So, Monday Night Raw starts off with the Rated R Superstar Edge coming down to the ring where it looks like it's going to be the cutting edge. He says that the reason he's doing the cutting edge here tonight is because of Triple H, and Triple H thinks it's best for business. He says that Triple H wants one of his former tag team partners to be his guest, and he says that it's not the guest that we think it is, and that's Christian. The guest is a former tag team partner of his in Rated RKO, the WWE Champion Randy Orton. But Ed says, you know what, I don't want Randy Orton as my guest, so he brings out the number one contender for the WWE title this Sunday, the Yes Man, Daniel Bryan. Daniel Bryan comes out and Ed says, you know, man, you got a lot of things in common. We both went through hard times to get to this company. And he asks Daniel Bryan, does Daniel Bryan think he can win the title this Sunday? And he says, of course, yes, yes, yes. So, next thing you know, Randy Orton music hits. Randy Orton comes out, trashes Edge, trash Canada, and says that the only place that he get a welcome, the only place Edge get a good welcome is when he's in Canada. So, next thing you know, Edge says, you know what, Randy Orton, I'm ashamed of you. I mean, I don't blame you for cashing in your briefcase because, you know, I invented that. But as you being like Triple H's puppet, I don't like it. So, of course, this brings out Triple H. And Triple H and Edge have a choice of words, as Edge pretty much tells Triple H that him not believing in Daniel Bryan is the same thing he did with Chris Jericho, the same thing he did with John Cena, that he didn't give them guys a chance, and they both became WWE champion. They both took the WWE by storm, and so he says that Daniel Bryan will do the same. And Triple H is like, you know what, Edge, for somebody who can't wrestle, you're sure talking a lot of trash to me. So he says he's going to give Daniel Bryan that opportunity to prove himself tonight. So he puts Daniel Bryan in a match against the WWE United States Champion Dean Ambrose, and says that the Shield, of course, you know, will be at ringside, and that to make it fair, Daniel Bryan will have a guy in his corner. But he says it can't be Edge because Edge is too beat down and brutal that there's nothing he can do about it. So he says the guy who's going to be in his corner is no other than The Big Show. And so Edge and Triple H still exchange words, and then Triple H says, you know what, Edge, I can't hurt you, but I can hurt someone that's close to you. And so we see the Shield come out with a beaten down Christian, which makes Edge gets out the ring and runs up the ramp to check on his friend as the corporation walks away. And so we go backstage after the commercial break, and we see Triple H talking to Stephanie, but Edge rushes into the office and tries to go at Triple H, but the Shield gets in front of Triple H, and Triple H says, Edge, you want to come in here at me like that, and you can barely do anything? And Edge says, like, he wish he could, because the first person he'll take his head off is Triple H. And so Triple H says, you know what, how about you get out of my building? So Triple H pretty much kicks Edge out of the arena. He says you can either find your way out by yourself, or the Shield will escort you out of the arena. So Edge leaves. We go back to the ring, and then we see Kofi Kingston versus Curtis Axel, a rematch of their match on Friday on SmackDown, which Kofi won. So Curtis Axel and Kofi having their match, and you know what? Curtis Axel just snaps. He gets himself disqualified. Kofi picks up the win. And so after the match, he's arguing with Paul Heyman, and Paul Heyman says, what are you doing? And Curtis Axel said, don't worry, Paul, I may have got disqualified tonight, but that's not going to happen this Sunday against CM Punk. And so he tries to pick up Kofi again, and Kofi catches him with the Trouble in Paradise. Now, then we go back stage again during commercial break, after commercial break, and we see Paul Heyman supposedly hurt his knee, saying that he slipped on a puddle of water that we see on the floor, which we're like, really? Come on now. You know you didn't slip on the water, right? And so we go back to the ring. we go back to the ring and we see Dolph Ziggler versus Bray Wyatt. And of course the Wyatt family, their intro is crazy. I like their intro. So they come out, they do what they do best, and that's beat Dolph Ziggler, who's also a great wrestler at that. And so Dolph Ziggler loses the match, and we go backstage and we see Big Show sitting in his locker room, and in comes Booker T, and Booker T says the same thing kind of what he said to Daniel Bryan last week, that Big Show, I know you didn't want to knock out Daniel Bryan last week, but you did what was best for business, and you did what you had to do for your family, and if I was in your position, I would have knocked out Daniel Bryan too, and that he told the Big Show when he's out there tonight in that main event in Daniel Bryan's corner to think about his family, think about his daughter. So we go back to the ring, and out comes Paul Heyman with the doctor and Curtis Axel, and Paul Heyman's on crutches, and his doctor, I'm trying to say that, his knee is so messed up he can't compete in that 2-on-1 handicap match with CM Punk this Sunday. So Brad Maddox come out and say, well, here in the WWE, unless one of our doctors say you can't compete, you got to compete. So out comes one of the WWE doctors, and he checks Paul Heyman, finds out Paul Heyman's just fine, tells Paul Heyman that, this Sunday you're still going to compete. Out comes CM Punk. He runs down to the ring with a kendo stick. He hits Paul Heyman's doctor. He hits Curtis Axel with it, and Paul Heyman takes off. Dude runs through the crowd, almost knocked over the cameraman. I've never seen Paul Heyman run that fast in my life, but it was one of the funniest things I ever seen from Paul Heyman. So, then we have, the match between the Total Divas stars, Natalya, Brie Bella, and Naomi versus Oksana, Alicia Fox, and Layla, with AJ on commentary. And I really don't care that much for this match. I think the Divas, I'm glad they're getting more airtime, and I think they can get back to where they were a long time ago. But as AJ, the Divas champion, I think she's the best diva in the company today, and to see her on commentary talking trash, I liked it, and hopefully she can retain the title this Sunday. But knowing the Total Divas thing, I don't know if that's going to happen. But anyway, so then we go to R-Truth versus Alberto Del Rio, a match that it seemed like no one really cares about, because the whole time they're chanting Undertaker while this match going on. And to be honest, I didn't care about the match either. Real talk, man. I didn't even care about the match. I was like, you know what? I bet Alberto's going to win, so I'm not really worried about it. So then we have Miz versus I wasn't really paying attention to the match. I can barely even remember who he fought. The Miz versus someone, and so the Miz loses the match, of course, because of the interference for Fandango, as the crowd really not paying attention to the match, but they mostly all fandangling, and then you see the lovely Summer Rae out there as well, which was great. And so then we go to the Goldust versus Randy Orton. If Goldust win, Cody Rhodes, if he apologizes or whatever, he gets his job back. If Goldust loses, then Cody Rhodes don't get his job back. So we go to this match, and it's good to see Goldust in the ring. And to be honest, Goldust was giving it to Randy Orton. He was giving it to the face of the company. And at one point, I thought, man, Goldust probably going to pull this thing out. Goldust is going to get it done. He even hit the Dream Streak. The Crossroads, my bad. The Crossroads on Randy Orton. It looked like he was about to lose. Randy Orton was about to lose, but he kicked out, and then out of nowhere, RKO. It was over as Randy Orton stood tall over, Goldust. And then, backstage, Goldust was disappointed. He felt like he let his whole family down. And then Stephanie McMahon comes in and says, you're a disgrace. You let your whole family down. You're nothing but an embarrassment. Now everybody in your family got to sit at home and watch. Your brother doesn't have a job. He's on the unemployment line. And she tells Goldust, why don't you go join your brother on the unemployment line? Oh, and tell your father I said hi. I thought it was great. I laughed at it. I got respect for the Rose family, but, That was great. And so then we have Ryback the Bully versus RVD. Ryback the Bully versus RVD. And as for Ryback, I think he may be part of the corporation, maybe like an ally to them or something, because lately he has been doing their dirty work. And I thought, well, is this just a match with him and RVD? Is this just a match, or is this payback from RVD speaking up on Friday Night SmackDown? That I don't know. It was a good match, but Ryback, of course, he got disqualified after slamming RVD into the ring post twice, and then he hits the shell shock. So was that really a match for Ryback, or was that just a message sent from Triple H and company? And so then we have the return of Santino Marella, who takes on the Real American Antonio Cesaro. That's right, we the people. And so that was a solid match, and of course Santino picks up the victory, which we haven't seen that dude in a long time, so it's good to see Santino back. And so then we get ready to go to the main event, which is, Daniel Bryan versus Dean Ambrose, and we see Stephanie McMahon come up to Big Show and tell Big Show, you know what, we got you at ringside tonight. You gotta see that ringside, and you can't attack the Shield. If you touch the Shield, you're fired. So Big Show has to pretty much sit out there like he's been doing the last couple of weeks and not do anything. So it's a back and forth match, good match. Daniel Bryan gets the win, and then after the match, of course, he gets attacked by the Shield and Randy Orton. And Randy Orton plants him with an RKO with Big Show, thinking about doing something, but he realized he couldn't. So then Triple H and Stephanie come out on the stage and they say the same thing they pretty much said last week. Big Show, get back in the ring, pick up Daniel Bryan, knock him out. Big Show refuses to do it, so him and Randy Orton start to argue, and then Daniel Bryan gets back to his feet, kicks Daniel Bryan in the face. He stands over Daniel Bryan holding the title, chanting yes, yes, yes. So does this mean, can Daniel Bryan win the title this Sunday at Night of Champions? We have to see. This is my review for Monday Night Raw, and I think it was a solid show. I think it was a pretty good show, and I'll see you guys next time.